I have a friend named Emma who is 25 years old. She once had a beautiful love story with a man named William, who was 3 years older than her. At first, William loved and spoiled her, making her believe she had found the perfect partner. But soon, his love became suffocating and turned into a nightmare. William controlled Emma too much. He didn't let her meet her friends, not even her closest girlfriends. When she couldn't take it anymore, she decided to break up. But William didn't let her go easily. At first, he begged her desperately, but then he started threatening her. One day, he kidnapped Emma. She woke up in a strange room, her hands and feet tied tightly. William spoke softly.
Hello, my love.
William's voice was gentle, but it sent chills down Emma's spine. She tried to move, but the ropes were too tight and hurt her wrists. Emma shouted angrily.
Let me go, William!
William tilted his head and smiled.
You are mine. I won't let you leave me.
He walked closer and touched her face. Emma tried to turn away, but she couldn't do anything. William wanted Emma to love him again and obey him. He clenched his teeth and said,
Emma, say you love me. Say it!
Emma struggled, but the more she resisted, the tighter he held her. She yelled,
I hate you! I regret ever loving you!
Hearing this, William's eyes filled with rage. He immediately slapped Emma hard. Emma felt a burning pain on one side of her face, and the sharp sting made her dizzy. William shouted angrily,
I did everything for you. And you? You want to leave me? You betrayed me.
Emma screamed back.
William, you are crazy! You disgust me!
William became more furious. He punched and slapped her repeatedly until her lips bled. The days after that were a never-ending nightmare. Whenever she resisted, he beat her, starved her, and left her weak and trembling. But after hurting her, he would hold her close, kiss her forehead, and comfort her like a child. Emma soon realized that the more she fought back, the more violent he became. She spoke softly.
William, I'm sorry for hurting you.
She knew she had to act the way he wanted, at least until she found a way to escape. Without waiting for his reaction, she smiled gently and said,
These days, I realize that I still love you.
William seemed surprised by her reaction. His eyes widened in shock. Even though she wanted to push him away, Emma held back. She had to think fast and find a way to escape this horrible place. William smiled happily.
Good girl. I knew you still loved me.
Emma then said softly,
William, I want to hug you, but my hands are tied.
Without hesitation, William untied her ropes. Emma watched as he loosened each knot, feeling relieved inside. She gave him a weak smile and whispered,
Thank you, William. I love you.
William smiled with satisfaction, stroking her head like a pet. Emma then saw a bottle of wine on the table. Slowly, she walked over and poured some into a glass. She handed it to William and smiled.
William, I am really happy to be with you.
William was completely off guard. He took the glass of wine from Emma's hand and brought it to his lips to drink. Seizing the moment, Emma grabbed the wine bottle and smashed it over his head. Emma ran to the door, but it was locked. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't open it. She looked around the room, searching for anything to help her escape. Then she saw a rusty iron rod in the corner. Without hesitation, she grabbed it and used all her strength to hit the door. After several strikes, the door finally broke open. Emma ran outside without looking back. Later, she called the police, but when they arrived, William was gone. There were no signs of torture or blood in the apartment. In fact, the apartment was Emma's home, but she truly believed she had been kidnapped. The police thought she had mental health issues and sent her to the hospital for treatment. A few days later, they found a man's body in an abandoned house outside the city. His body had multiple stab wounds from a broken wine bottle found at the scene. After investigating, the police confirmed that the victim was William. They also found Emma's fingerprints at the crime scene. However, when they questioned her, she had no memory of killing William. After suffering such a huge trauma, Emma could no longer tell what was real and what was just a nightmare in her mind. Now she is in the hospital, receiving treatment for PTSD and paranoid disorder. I could never forget the tense moment when I had to struggle with a murderer, and the truth about the person behind it all broke my heart. That afternoon, when I came home, I immediately sensed something was wrong as I looked toward the bedroom. I had a habit of opening the bedroom curtains right after waking up, but now they were drawn shut. Feeling uneasy, I slowly walked into the room to check. The moment I stepped inside, a man suddenly appeared from behind the door. He lunged at me, swinging a hammer at my head, causing me to lose balance and fall to the floor. "Who are you? What do you want?" The stranger said nothing and continued attacking me. I tried to calm myself and remembered the self-defense lessons I had learned in a training program. I screamed loudly for help to distract him while scratching and clawing at him. Then I gathered all my strength and shoved him hard, slamming him into the wall. Without wasting a second, I ran outside, shouting for help from the neighbors. But just as I reached the living room, he suddenly grabbed me and pulled me back, throwing me to the floor. Although the man was tall and large, I outweighed him significantly. Taking advantage of this, I quickly stood up and pushed him forcefully once more. This time, he sprawled on the floor. I immediately climbed on top of him and tightened my hands around his neck. "Who sent you here?" But he didn't answer. He only growled and groaned like a wild animal. Enraged, I pressed my fingers harder against his neck until he stopped moving completely. Once I confirmed that the attacker was dead, I rushed out of the house to seek help. With the help of the neighbors, I was finally able to call 911. The police inspected the scene and found no signs of forced entry. However, besides me, only my son, Michael, knew the door code. Later, the police found a crumpled piece of paper in Edward's pocket with my home address written on it. I was truly terrified when I realized it was Michael's handwriting. Following this clue, the police quickly arrested Michael for questioning. Michael had hired Edward, a friend from his gang, to kill me in order to claim the inheritance. Michael and I often fought because he was addicted to drugs and had abandoned his studies. As a result, I had stopped giving him money for the past 2 months, which drove him to commit the crime. I never imagined that one day my own son would want to kill his biological mother. Michael was later sentenced to 10 years in prison for his crimes. Meanwhile, my actions toward Edward were ruled as self-defense, and I was not charged with murder. After the incident, I used my story to inspire others.
How long has it been since you last returned to your hometown? I recently went through a devastating return that left me scarred for the rest of my life. I am June, 27 years old. After a long time struggling to make a living in the city, I finally had the chance to visit my grandmother. As I approached her house, I saw a man in disheveled clothes hastily walking out from inside. I quickly approached and greeted him.
"Hello, sir. Did you come to visit my grandmother?"
The man hesitated and replied,
Who are you?
I smiled and responded,
"I'm Mrs. Smith's granddaughter. I came to visit her today. Is she home?"
The man stammered.
I don't know. I didn't see her inside.
Then he hurried away. I didn't think much of it and quickly entered the house, calling out, "Grandma,
"I'm home."
There was no response. I walked to the door, continuing to call.
"Grandma, where are you?"
I pushed open the door and stepped inside. The house was dark, with only a faint light seeping through the window. Furniture was scattered everywhere as if someone had rummaged through them. I rushed into my grandmother's room, only to be hit by a pungent, metallic smell that made me dizzy. In a panic, I turned on the light and froze in shock. Dried bloodstains covered the floor. Terrified, my voice trembled as I shouted, "Grandma! Grandma!" Suddenly, a dog's barking came from the backyard. It was Tom. My heart pounded as I ran outside. Tom barked even louder when he saw me, scratching the ground furiously as if trying to tell me something. The soil beneath Tom's paws looked freshly dug. A chill ran down my spine. I hurriedly dug into the ground, my heart racing. Soon, my hands touched a black plastic bag. My hands trembled as I opened it, revealing a pair of frail, lifeless hands. I screamed in despair and collapsed onto the ground, tears streaming down my face. At that moment, Tom growled and barked fiercely behind me, his eyes fixed on something. I turned around and saw the man from earlier standing right behind me, gripping a sickle tightly in his hand. Terrified, I asked, Did you kill my grandmother?" The man snarled.
You and your grandmother are such a nuisance. Let me send you to reunite with her.
Panicked, I screamed.
Is anyone there? Help me!
I tried to run, but he quickly grabbed me and pushed me to the ground. With a cold voice, he said,
There's no one around. Don't waste your breath.
He raised the sickle and lunged at me, but suddenly, Tom bit his ankle hard, making him scream in pain. Seizing the opportunity, I got up and ran. But before I could get far, Tom's agonizing yelp echoed. Then everything went silent. I froze, trembling, and turned back. Tom's head lay lifeless on the ground, severed from his body. The man, limping, approached me, his blood-stained sickle still in hand. Panicked, I stepped back and tripped over a rock, falling hard onto the ground. Despite his injury, he moved quickly, closing the distance between us. Desperate, I grabbed the rock I had tripped over and threw it at him. The rock struck his forehead. He screamed in pain and staggered backward. I got up and ran toward the front of the house, where I saw two young men returning from work. I shouted at them.
Help me, please!
They turned around, startled, and rushed toward me with worried expressions. Just then, the man chased after me, raising his sickle high, ready to strike. The two young men quickly grabbed a bamboo stick from the roadside and rushed toward the man. One of the young men grabbed a bamboo stick from the roadside and swung it at the attacker's hand, knocking the sickle away. The other struck his leg, making him collapse. The man screamed in agony as they quickly restrained him and tied him up with a rope. We immediately called the police, who took him into custody. I was devastated to learn that he had broken into my grandmother's house to steal and then brutally murdered her, dismembering her body and burying it in the backyard. Even now, I still blame myself. If only I had returned home sooner, perhaps things wouldn't have ended this way.
Lizzie grew up in a violent family, with her biological father being an abusive alcoholic. In a drunken rage, he killed Lizzie's mother. When he sobered up, the guilt consumed him, and he took his own life. I was Jane, 20 years old. Lizzie was my adoptive sister, taken in by my parents after her biological parents passed away. We grew up under the same roof, but Lizzie was always distant and withdrawn, no matter how hard I tried to get close to her. One day, my parents suggested a family trip, hoping it would help Lizzie heal after such a devastating loss.
Where would my precious daughter like to go?
I want to go to the beach. We haven't gone in so long, Dad. But I never imagined that a simple conversation would mark the beginning of a terrifying tragedy. That day, my parents attended a party and told us to prepare dinner ourselves. I planned to order food and wanted to ask Lissy if she would like to eat with me.
Lissy, I'm ordering dinner. Do you want anything?
There was no response. The door was unlocked, yet the room remained eerily silent. Hesitating for a moment, I pushed the door open, but Lissy wasn't inside. It was my first time entering her room. Everything was neat and clean. My eyes landed on the desk, where an old diary lay neatly. On the cover, the word "die" was scrawled in bold red letters. A sense of unease rose within me, yet I couldn't stop myself from picking up the diary. Inside were grotesque, twisted drawings drenched in blood, horrifying and disturbing. Frightened, I quickly shut the book and tossed it back onto the desk. My heart pounded, my breath quickened. At that moment, I noticed another word carved deeply into the desk. Kill, with my name etched right next to it. My entire body froze. My breath became heavy. What was Lizzie trying to do? Suddenly, her cold voice rang out behind me.
Jane, who gave you permission to touch my things?
Startled, I turned around to see Lizzie's expressionless face staring at me. Lizzie, what is all this? Lizzie said coldly.
I hate you. I want you dead.
With that, she pulled a sharp knife from her pocket and lunged at me. I quickly dodged, but the blade still sliced deep into my arm, sending a sharp pain through me. Lizzie then kicked me hard in the back, making me fall onto the floor. She opened a drawer, pulled out a rope, and immediately pounced on me, pinning me down. Before I could react, my wrists and ankles were already bound tightly.
Why are you doing this to me?
I hate how happy you are. I hate your stupid, cheerful smile.
She dragged the blade across my cheek, the cold steel sending a chilling sensation through my skin. Lizzie, please stop. Everyone loves you.
Love! You have everything. Parents, vacations, attention. And me? I'm nothing but a discarded piece of trash.
No, Lizzie. We all want you to come with us on the trip.
Shut up! I don't need your pity.
My pleas only fueled her rage. She gripped the knife tightly and stabbed it deep into my thigh. A searing pain shot through my body, and I screamed in agony. Lizzie's fingers tightened around the knife handle, preparing to drive it down with all her strength. I truly thought that would be the last moment of my life. But just then, my mother's terrified scream shattered the air. Looking towards the door, I saw my parents standing there, their faces frozen in horror.
Lizzie, what are you doing?
Lizzie, put the knife down.
Don't come any closer or I'll kill her.
In an instant, my father lunged forward, grabbing Lizzie's wrist and struggling to pry the knife from her grip. Lizzie suddenly bit down hard on my father's hand, making him yelp in pain and loosen his grip. Taking advantage of the moment, she broke free and turned towards me, eyes burning with madness. My father quickly grabbed her from behind, wrapping his arms around her tightly. She thrashed violently, screaming.
Lizzie, my love, please stop.
Lizzie suddenly froze, turning to look at my mother. Her grip on the knife loosened, and it clattered to the floor. Perhaps, at that moment, she remembered her biological mother, the only person who had ever truly loved her. After that day, my parents took Lizzie to see a psychiatrist. She was diagnosed with severe psychological disorders caused by past trauma, so she had to stay at the hospital for treatment. What Lizzie did to me was painful, but I never once hated her. In fact, I felt even more sorry for her. I only wished for our family to be whole again someday.